All right, today we have our boy Isaiah. What's up?
Howdy.
He is the friend I know that resells a lot of stuff, and he's into stocks and all that. Um,
Yes, sir.
the question I have for you today: what do you think is the most like like the most resold item, or it's like the most popular right now resold item?
I would say sports cards over Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
cards, only because
Go
Pokemon
ahead and pick
cards.
up the mic and talk into it.
There's a few of them that are like, okay, I got a Shadowless Charizard and whatnot, right? And that's like your home run hitter. There was a Tom Brady card that sold for a couple million, like didn't even flinch. Then a Patrick Mahomes rookie came and did the same thing a short time after. And the thing is, like, dude, there have been people that got like people will fight over the cards at the stores, but they're not fighting over the Pokemon cards. They're fighting over like sports cards, like the which ones are they're like the Panini football cards. They do all sorts of sports, but Panini football cards, the freaking Don Russ packs. I think they do basketball and baseball. But any sport card that you see in the stores, you better just get them. If you're trying to resell them or whatnot, you might find something
Is there a
cool.
reason for that? Like,
It's okay. The scarcity aspect of sports cards is way exponentially higher, I think, than the Pokemon cards.
did someone like blow them up? Like, you know how like the Pokemon cards, like Logan Paul or something, like.
Sports cards have been blown up like that since like the turn of the century.
Okay.
Like there's Babe Ruth cards that are still just
Yeah.
clearing millions. And that dude's been dead for who knows how long. And it's kind of weird if you like look at the timeline for certain cards because there's gray areas in certain sports. Like for football, they're like in the 90s, there's only a few cards that are like hit or miss in that one.
Hmm.
But like recently, if you pull a Justin Herbert card, he's the quarterback for the Chargers. You get him in a certain format, you got some bread.
Oh.
If you get NBA star that's a rookie, everybody loves the NBA rookie cards. It's not so much that like the card that looks the
Uh-huh.
shiniest or prettiest, but it's the one that you think it's like, oh, this was a great prospect. I got him when nobody else had him. Now pay me.
I
That's
see.
the sports cards thing that I
You know,
see
it's crazy.
mostly.
I just thought about it. I was like, I've never seen or recently like compared to Pokemon cards, right? Pokemon cards have old packs that they sell where you could pull old stuff.
Yeah,
Is there something like that for sports, or do they just sell the old cards? Like, I don't see old card packs for sports. You know what I mean?
you won't see old card packs like that for the sports because everybody went through them all.
Yeah, yeah.
They were that in demand and whatnot. If you come across like a big like say you find a guy on eBay that has like a fat box and he's like, oh, I went through a storage locker and I got all these unsealed packs and whatnot, I would still rip through them just because you run the chance of like pulling a really old vintage card and it might be in perfect condition. I would do it personally, depending on the price and everything. But I know I was at the store one time, right?
Mhm.
I think it was a Walgreens. Walgreens has certain packs that they almost seem like they're resealed, and I'll go up in there and I found like an old college football pack, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never seen one of these before in my life. So I went, I was like, I opened it. It had unsealed LSU players from like the 90s in there. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not getting nothing out of there. But there was, I think it was an LSU and an Alabama pack. And it was, I've never seen a whole lot of college packs make a lot of noise, but I'm not extraordinarily familiar with just college football cards. But I know the NFL cards, they go crazy. If they make some moves in the NFL, and you even if you get their college cards, those are still pretty valuable. I bet if you go back and you're like, oh, I got Tom Brady at Michigan when he first got there, I'm pretty sure you could probably argue something right there. And there's plenty of people that can tell you which freaking valuations are at. If you send them off to like PSA and you get like certain grader notes or whatnot, there's certain ways where you can be like, okay, with based on this grade that I have, like say you get a 10 out of 10 Tom Brady when he got signed to the
That'd be
Patriots.
worth
Oh,
so
bro,
much.
you're in there. You're in there like swimwear.
you,
Like
you probably
it's
sell that.
you're
What do you think those cards go for? Like, you've seen the
we can
prices.
we can look up the I just saw the Tom Brady one. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, like it's got to be above. Like, what's the most expensive card you think you've seen in the sports cards? Like, is it close? Is it like in the hundreds of thousands?
Tom Brady's rookie card from the 2000 playoff contenders championship rookie ticket was autographed. It was a mint 9 grade and it sold for like 3.1 million.
Oh my god.
3.1 million according to this is NBC Sports right here.
I didn't think of I was thinking, I was gonna say a price, right? And I said 100,000s because I was like, there's no way they're reaching a mil, right? But I guess if there was one, it
The
would be Tom
sports
Brady
cards,
that would go for a
the
mil
sports
or
cards
3 mil.
where you get they call them like grails, right?
Yeah,
And be like, oh, I got a Grail Charizard. That it's a very niche. It's either like a first edition Shadowless that's 10 out of 10 with whatever grading company you came with. I would only consider like if it's a Grail, if you niche it down to the big three,
mhm,
that being like CGC or PSA or like Beckett. Those are like the biggest graders out there
yeah,
for sports cards. But if you go and get like a smaller there's a bunch of grading companies popping up. And if you go to them, I don't think you're going to command the same leverage as if you were to go with the biggest known companies. Because CGC did comic books for 20 years and they came over to cards and they have their own sports section. They separated it between Pokemon and sports cards. You'll get a different label for both.
yeah,
So in PSA, they don't really distinguish it between that, but they print out on the label what sport it is, who it is, and what the grade
yeah.
is.
But like that, I mean, there's definitely a difference of price depending on which one you go with too. Because if you go for one of the lower ones that's up and coming, like it's not as accredited.
It's way cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's way cheaper because they don't have clout
Exactly
like
like
that.
they're not
You
well
know?
known for it.
Not at
Like
all. And I think it's the big three. They command the most value just because they're the most trusted, the most well known.
they've been doing
all
it for a
that.
long time.
They've been doing it forever. They've been in it, and they were saying, like with the gray areas with like sports cards and whatnot, when there's periods of time when there were like no Michael Jordans or Shaqs coming out and whatnot. Those companies hurt because nobody's grading cards. Everybody's like, oh, everybody sucks, and we're witnessing greatness with LeBron already. You don't get the LeBron cards. There's a finite amount of those. You're gonna have to wait for the next generational talent.
Yeah.
Who knows how long that'll come
Yeah,
up.
that's true.
So LeBron cards go for a lot too. The Kobe cards, they're always commanding a
I
price.
bet.
Jordan's rookies, always up there. But it's like there's certain variations of like a rookie card, right?
Mhm.
Now that they're making them, you'll get like a base rookie card, and then you'll get a rookie card with like green borders. And you're like, nice, shiny, all this
Yeah.
and that. And then you'll get another one that's like purple or something, and you gotta look up the variations between the cards, and those variations distinguish its rarity. So depending on, say, you pull something that has like confetti fireworks coming out and all that, and you see its variation is like 1 out of 1, you got some bread.
That's
Because nobody else is gonna have that card in the world. It's basically an art piece now.
yeah.
Case it up, ship it off, and keep it safe.
That's ridiculous, bro.
When I started getting these Pokemon cards together and stuff, right? When I got my first Charizards, I did not just leave them out like that. Sleeved them, had them in a hard case, and I put them in a fireproof safe just in case. Because we have
And
fires
they're
out
worth
here.
a lot of money though.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
Whole lot. Even the lower end ones, it's $500 if you want
That's
some.
$500 for a piece of cardboard, bro.
Piece of cardboard. If you look at it at the end of the day, it's a piece of paper.
Yeah, yeah.
Piece of paper, turn it into 500 pieces of paper. That's what I'm saying. You in the older Charizards, if you were in the 90s and you saw those packs, open them up, you rip a Charizard. Back then, you're like, oh, got the best card in the game. Stashed it. They're really rare, the Charizards specifically, because a lot of kids played with them. Because
They're all bent.
Charizard, you were gonna whip on everybody at the playground. There's cards that look like they got scraped on pavement. They look like somebody flossed with them and
Oh,
everything.
man.
They get tore up real bad. That's why the shadowless ones are commanding hundreds of thousands of dollars, just because those ones look the best.
They
And,
do.
if you pulled one of those as a kid, you were gonna show it to somebody
Yeah, yeah.
and be like, "Look at this right here." Ah, yeah. But they Kobe, see, Kobe knows. That's how you react when you pull one of those grails. Like,
You
oh,
barking,
yo,
bro.
we got paid. But the freaking Charizards, man, crazy. Charizards are the Tom Brady's of the Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's for sure.
Easily.
You want to go ahead and introduce the next topic?
Let's talk about like sources. I mean, you already kind of went over it, like you went a PSA and all that. Like,
Yeah. With the sourcing, would you want it for grading or like actually finding something?
we can talk about more like finding, yeah, like
Okay,
selling.
so for finding
and
something,
finding something. Like, where would you go?
before I found any Charizards in like decent condition, worth like negotiating something for, dude, I was going to yard sales. I was going to the thrift stores, the variations that we have, doing a whole patrol.
Yeah.
Just going on the internet, looking at eBay, looking at Mercari, There was the
Mercari
pop,
or whatever
the pop, bro. I would not have thought to look there because it's niche's clothing
Mm.
and reselling your old clothes or making them look vintage. And they get a bad rap because a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, I got this at their store. It's vintage, $50."
Yeah.
It's like, dude, this thing smells like rats right here. Come on now. But I was looking at the cards and I was like, okay, let me start digging through this. Dude, it took me like a couple months. Found some Charizards from a guy, selling them,
Really?
negotiated a cool price. I worked like 2 3 weeks just waiting, stacking up bread. You know, I'm like, because I know I'm gonna run into one eventually, and I better have the capital to at least negotiate something reasonable. Because the guy that I bought mine from, he told me he had his from when he was a kid.
Wow.
So considering he was around our age too, if he was coming up, found that, and he was like, dude, I've kept this safe my entire life. Like, come on now. That in my opinion, that commands a certain leverage. Because I'm like, okay, bro, the amount of time that you took to take care of this and didn't end up messing it up, I value that a lot. Like I respect that. So whatever price he had them at like really reasonable too. He wasn't overcharging them at all. I had no problem paying his prices. For one of them, it was around 300, and then the other one was like 150.
Wow.
How much do they go for now?
Well, the ones that I have, particularly my variants, they go for like 500 600.
Oh.
That's already doubled.
Yeah, but at the same time, you hold on to those for like another 20 years. That could be even more, but that's 20 years. That's a long time. So if you really want to flip something like that, you gotta at least have what I do. At least I have a whiteboard at home. You write your numbers down. Be like, okay, I'm putting this much in. You find your grader, see how much that's gonna cost you. See, your cost of acquiring, cost of acquisition, if you want to niche it down like that. And then be like, okay, let me look at the market and see how much I could sell this potentially for. Some of them, like the cars that I had a couple months ago, they were clearing like 5 grand, I think, according to like the Pokemon price thing. For if they were in PSA at least, they were commanding some hefty change for a while. And then the other variations of them, oh man, if you had an error on it, like if the factory messed up and put like a dot where it wasn't supposed to be, or if the shiny part was too shiny, oh, you're in the ballpark. So with Pokemon cards, the variations with Pokemon, they're like from common to rare to like ultra rare and all that. You can get the shiny ones, the full arts. But if you get the full arts and it's like super rare, you get a shadowless first edition, and then it's messed up too. Oh, it's like a double grade. You got 2 cups, filling both of them up. There was there's a card that, and remember the big like box of them that I told you I bought recently. There was one of them that had like a crinkle on the top of it, where like the press machines that put them in packs, it came down too hard in one instance, but it was an energy card. So in the Pokemon world, energy cards don't do anything for you unless they're shiny. There's some of them that are shiny. If you get them in like I think it's Evolutions. That's a 2016 remake of the original 90s ones. But other than that, I don't really find any shiny energies. But it was cool. I was like, oh, would you look at that? Found an error card. That's what's up. That's nice. It was a fire energy. I was like, I'm getting what, a quarter from you.
Yeah, I mean
Cool.
that's still you're still up for the back. I technically
Hey,
like
it's a quarter. That's the first error card I
yeah.
found.
I mean that's cool.
So
No,
it was interesting because there was like 5,000 cards that I bought. It was terribly packaged. It was in a beat up box and everything. I was like, oh man, I thought they were just gonna be fried when they came in. Open it, they were all right, but that one I was like, okay, cool.
yeah, no. I guess we could go into like after you're sourcing it, like what is like you've have you ventured into different selling routes besides eBay? Because I know you're on eBay mostly, right?
Yup.
What's the main selling route that you think you like, and what are the reasons for it? Because a lot of people are reselling stuff, or they like use Etsy now, and they'll like, for instance, there's a TikTok that I saw. I'm sure both of you guys have seen them before. People repaint Pokemon cards, like basic Pokemon cards, and resell them,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's, bro, that's art. That's
it
a
is
niche
art.
right there.
It is art.
That's You can command anything. What they should do, they should take those art and make them into NFTs too. Make them their own collect.
That would be sick. Like collections of them.
Dude, that'd be awesome. Imagine you have a whole gallery of a variation of different art that you created on Pokemon cards. Make them into NFTs, mint them, send them out. That's your property.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
bought them,
I mean,
and then you also created everything on
Yeah,
it.
imagine if they did like a whole like leaf set, like all
There's
that.
a if you look on your phone, there's a Pokemon NFT already. It's like thick Pokemons. It's like Pikachu, like
Oh
a dump
yeah,
truck
I've
and
seen that.
everything.
Yeah.
You could do that, dude. It's your art.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. In all honesty, I've seen people make earrings out of them
Yeah.
on the pop at least. But I think for like the different variations of them, I think the best way would probably be like talking with somebody one to one, having a private sale. If anything, come with like your stats,
Mhm.
the way like you determine your price. Go on like eBay or a consistent source of income that you would say, where you could measure what the market value is.
Mhm.
Take like the mean of it, average it out, take your cost of acquisition, do the numbers, see how much you want your profit margin to be, then there you got your asking price. So for something like the Charizards that I would have, for
Yeah.
instance, say for like the 151, I wouldn't mind taking a smaller profit margin on that one because I didn't put as much money into it. Because I paid double for the other one that had a higher grade.
Yeah.
So one of them came out at 8, the other one came at 8.5, and those command different prices, just because one of them's in better condition than the other.
That's ridiculous. So back to the selling routes. What's your favorite route to go?
My favorite route has been eBay,
Yeah.
just because of how simple it is. You get a large span of, you could spread it real easily,
Mhm.
and it's easy with links, but you have to pay for that. There's after you sell your item, they're gonna take a cut from it,
Yeah.
and I believe it's around 10%, if not a little bit more than that. It is.
Yeah.
And but comparatively, if you go to any other route, it's either going to be start at that standard or even more, because eBay's like the biggest reselling platform out there.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
think I think maybe Mercari might be like as a runner up for collectibles at least, but eBay was my favorite just because I'm familiar with it.
Mhm.
It's very easy to use, I would say. It's very user friendly, and then on top of that, it's very transparent too. So you could use a lot of data that other people are using to help factor in your pricing. So say if the market gets volatile and those Charizards go from 500 to 5,000, I could be like, look, 10 of these sold for 5 grand. Why are you complaining when I raise my price?
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're making money, why can't
Seller. This is just a seller's mindset. I mean, you gotta get yours, right?
I? Exactly, because if I'm not getting mine, somebody's getting me.
Yeah.
That, so it's just a society that we live in, I think, because it's like, okay, you didn't consider how long it took me to get this,
Mhm.
my time doing that. You charged me how long it took me to get those Charizards. Oh man, I would only put minimum wage, $15 an hour. Figure out how long it took me to find those Charizards. I'd love that check. Over the 500, oh easy.
Yeah. Do you think like because I remember when you first started, like being what is it like well reported on like reselling sites it's like a really big thing obviously because if you're just starting and you're like you need to be commendable like for people to trust you was that hard to get into.
Very. But I used my old eBay account. I had to make two of them. I had to make a new one. But I used the old one that I used to sell stuff in. I think it was right when I turned 18. Sold a couple things and all this and that. Got a couple good reviews. Made it that much easier to start selling other cards. Because people go in your reviews and they're like, oh, this guy got a terrible 1 star review. Like, he's probably going to send me this card and it's going to smell like fish or something. Like, I don't want that. I've gotten a few that smelled really musty. I had to air them out. I was like, why? I got 4 Charizards that they weren't the old ones, they were some of the newer ones. But I liked them because their art was really nice. And I got them, I was like, oh, dude, this smells like BO right here. Like, what is going on? So when you get them encapsulated, for instance, it seals it off from the environment too. But when you're developing that rapport and people are like, oh, you're smelling BO cards, like 1 star, real easy. And people will see that. It's very transparent. You have your seller, like say you have your item, you have your seller category right underneath it, and then you can see their reviews at the bottom. So if you have a lot of bad reviews, it's gonna be real hard climbing that hill.
Yeah, no, dude, it's crazy because I've thought about it before because I have a record collection, obviously, and what you said about the Charizard cards is like exactly how I got most of my collection. I don't know if I've told you this before, but my grandma works at like it's not a retirement home, but it's kind of like a retirement home. Like older people live there. It's like a community thing. It's like
Okay,
an
so
apartment complex, but it's like a little bit cheaper, you know?
that's what's up. So it's like there's a whole network with that then. For instance, like if you like I'm in a group chat right now where a lot of guys are interested in Pokemon cards. So for me to like probably acquire like some of the newer ones, it wouldn't be that hard. But if I'm like, hey, y'all got some '90s cards? They'd be like, bro, get out.
No, I wasn't even talking about like I was gonna talk about how I got the record collection. It has nothing to do with like him having one. Like there's a guy that was there though, and my grandma was like a manager there, and she's like, uh, she was like, oh, this guy went to the hospital, you know, and he's probably not gonna stay here. He's gonna stay with his family now, and he wants to give up his record collection. Like he can't. They said he can't keep it, and I was like, dude, that sucks so bad. And she was like, if you want, you could come pick a few out. And I was like, okay, sure. Two big boxes, bro, right?
Oh
And I
man,
was like, okay, let me look through them. And then I was like, looking through all of them, I was like, honestly, these could all be gems because they're like old. Like there's some like Vietnam War like radios. It was crazy.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
That's
actually
hella
wild
cool.
how much stuff is in there. And I was like, Grandma, can I just take the whole thing? I'm gonna keep the collection together. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the Charizard cards.
Yeah.
It's like he's
Hmm.
had this his whole life probably.
Whole life stacked
It's
it up.
like, why
That's
would I
that's
separate it?
it's admirable
Yeah,
because it's like you see that like I can see the effort you put into it,
yeah,
and I respect
yeah,
it.
exactly. And it's like I've already found a few gems on there. I don't know how much they sell for because I didn't even bother looking them up because I want to keep them for now. If I think
Yeah.
about it later, you know, I will later.
If push comes to shove, or if you want to make like a new investment move, I would recommend looking those up
Dude, I'm
because
sure some of them are like ridiculous.
people buy obscure things,
Yeah,
and it's because nostalgia. People love nostalgia, right? Same thing with the Pokemon cards. You pick up like a Squirtle, and you'll think like, "Oh, I remember the first Squirtle I caught."
yeah, yeah,
Like, come on now, it makes you warm and tingly inside.
yeah.
There's people that buy the entire first set that came out in like the '90s, easily drop 100 grand on it for having them all graded. Even the common ones in there, every single
Every
card.
single card.
Put
Yeah.
them in a case, walk up like a businessman in a suit. You're good.
Yeah, no, like I have the couple that are like older. Like for instance, Steve Perry. He's part of what's the band called that sings "Don't Stop Believin'"?
Oh my gosh, I know exactly which one you're
Anyways,
talking about.
there's a Steve Perry solo album I have that was from that collection. I'm like, I don't even know what this will go for, but he's obviously popular. Like I know who he is.
Yeah, he has some
Yeah,
notoriety.
and then there's a Gladys Knight one. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
dude, come on, that's Gladys Knight.
come on now.
And then I also have Michael Jackson off the wall. Like
That one's from the '80s.
I'm pretty sure it looks
Ooh,
vintage, bro.
nice.
It's old. It's kind
Hey,
of beat, but I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I would keep that one
No,
personally speaking.
dude.
I would keep
It's
that one.
cool because like I don't even know if I have any other ones that do this, but when it folds open vertically, and it has his whole
Ooh.
body unfold.
Oh, that's
So it's like the upper
cool.
half, and then the lower half is the rest of his body. And I was like, dude, this is like,
That's
why don't
excellent
they?
marketing
Yeah,
right there.
exactly.
Package development, or I don't know what
I
market
don't
you would
know,
have for
but
that,
it's a
but
great
that's cool.
business move because it's like
I haven't seen
it
anything
makes
like
yeah,
that.
exactly. It makes it memorable for me, and it's
Yeah,
like
I recently bought the like on the topic of vinyls, I bought Nipsey Hussle's limited edition press they came out with for Victory
yeah,
Lap.
yeah.
I got that one for my birthday recently because I was like, they made a gold vinyl on it, and I was like, pre-order.
Dude, I
I'm
just got in J Cole's new album. I bought that on
ooh,
vinyl.
nice. Oh, I saw you post that one.
Yeah,
Dude, you're gonna have to show me that
I'll
after the
show it to you.
call.
I'll show it to you. It's so sick, dude. But
Did you see Drake gave him his props like on
yeah,
stage
yeah,
recently? I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool that they were showing love to each other and
yeah,
everything. Just cause like Drake's been bumping heads with like
yeah,
Kanye recently or something, but they're not very transparent as to like how that even happened.
yeah. Well, I mean, he remixed "Pipe Down" and that shit's fire. That shit's
Yeah, he
better than the
did.
original
That was
song.
yeah. I was listening. I was like, okay, J Cole. All right, I
Dude, he
see
has
you,
some
bro.
bars in there, but yeah,
He
no,
did.
like I wish he came out with a single vinyl for that, bro.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I kind of hope he does like 5 or 6 more albums, cause J Cole's that guy.
Yeah, he's
He's
that
that
guy.
guy. He's that guy. He's that guy. In my opinion, I like him. I think he's cool.
Yeah, no, but like I'm thinking about like going through them all one day. Like I've went through them all already, but I haven't looked at the pricing of all of them.
For the values of
Like
them. It's tedious. It's time
yeah, I mean,
consuming.
I'm not gonna lie though. Dude, I got this one Elvis Presley one, and
Ooh,
it's
nice.
a Valentine's Day special, and it's
Interesting.
a whole album of all of his like hit love songs.
Oh, that's
And you know the
awesome.
most popular one, the one that's in not in Insidious. It's in the other scary movie, The Conjuring. It's
Ooh,
the dad. He like sings it and plays the guitar.
I remember that
I don't
one.
remember what song it was
I
off the
don't
top
know
of my
the
head,
name of it.
but it's a very popular song and it's on
Yeah.
there. And the
Ooh,
whole vinyl is red.
that's
I'm not
awesome.
talking. I'm talking like I'm not talking the middle. I'm talking the whole thing. It's
The
red
whole
and it's
thing.
translucent.
That's
So
that's awesome.
I looked it
See,
up.
why don't they do that with
I
vinyl?
don't know.
Like, cause that that gave that whole vinyl right there personality.
Yeah,
Like you look at it, you're like, all right,
dude,
bro,
it's the
baby
most
making
beautiful
tunes.
album. There's a couple albums that have done it. SZA's, I have SZA's, and her whole album is completely clear. You can see right through
Oh,
it.
that's cool.
Daniel Caesar's is the same way, but it's like a orangish. It's interesting. But not a lot of people do it.
Nah, I think closest thing to what you're talking about, probably that solid gold one.
Yeah, yeah,
I was looking at it, I was like, that's gonna be
yeah. It
cool.
makes them unique.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
open it.
no, but I looked up the Elvis Presley one, and sealed on Amazon, it was going for $80.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
like, that's only on Amazon. I'm
Yeah, it
sure it
is
goes
only
for
on
way more
Amazon.
on some other sites.
If you like, you gotta find that right collector,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
to see what they're looking for and anything. Because even though Charizards fly off the shelves like that, it's kind of difficult if you want to sell them for a certain premium, because you're like, okay, I want, like, say a couple months back, I get my cards and I'm like, all right, I want to sell it at the current threshold, and the market goes down. People are going to be more reluctant to pay the prior premium that you had just because folks don't have extra money to pay for it right now.
Mhm.
So you as a seller have two choices. You can be like, okay, take my Elvis Presley vinyl. I can sell it for $80, like Amazon is suggesting. Amazon's a great source of reference too for prices, because I've used that for certain textbooks as well. But like on textbooks selling,
Mhm.
you could go Amazon and refer it to eBay as well, just to compare. Take that vinyl, compare it to Amazon, same principle. You could argue that, or you as a seller can set a whole new precedence. I wouldn't recommend it because it's very rare that it works. You could be like, you know what? I want 10 grand for this, and if somebody wants it, they can come and
Yeah,
get it.
you never know. A popular
You never
celebrity
know.
might be looking for that exact thing and be like, 10 grand, I got that.
Yeah, just here. I want that one right there. Because I'm sorry, if you're a collector of certain things, if you see something you like, you're gonna get it. And you might not want a different one than you find for whatever reason it may be.
Yeah.
Maybe you just want that one that you see right there
Mhm.
because you have a connection with it or whatever.
Yeah.
People like that with comic books. So it's like, oh, this is the first time Vision popped up. I'm not selling this. Oh, but what if I have 10K? Mm. Yeah, they're going to be real reluctant to give up like their favorite piece of nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna go away, and even if they like pass away, it's just gonna be put in the storage until someone else buys the storage. Like that's usually how it goes, unless
They
someone.
have a whole TV show for
Yeah,
that.
exactly, storage wars. But, do you have any like pieces of any collectible, a sticker that you think could go for something, like anything signed or?
Oh, I have a whole bunch of records.
Ooh,
Yeah.
there you go.
I also have a whole bunch of Pokemon cards and sports cards. I've
I was
never
looking
got
at
them
those.
graded. Like I didn't really get into the whole grading thing ever. But I went over my whole entire binder with my friend recently. I have it in my Discord, like in my Discord server, just all of my cards.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's lit. Dude, what I would recommend you do, if you ever do want to get them graded, go through, like, have three tabs open on your browser and
That's
everything.
exactly what I did.
Compare all the
Yeah.
prices. Because I know right now, like CGC, PSA, and Beckett, the big three, they're back ordered
Yeah,
by
no, I was
a
looking
mile.
at PSA because our friend sent in some cards to PSA like last year.
Oh yeah, he's still
Yeah,
waiting,
he's
huh?
still waiting.
Oh man, I think I was watching a YouTube video on why they were taking so
Mm.
long, and they were like, dude, they just didn't have the facilities for that. Like, it was a lot of cards that they got sent in.
Mhm.
Because like when Jake Paul sent out his card, he made a lot of waves. He had a lot
Yeah.
of big following and whatnot. That was actually pretty big for the Charizards at the time. Him doing that sent the Charizard prices up even more than
It's
what they
crazy what a celebrity can do. Like
Easily.
easily, like it's
Easily.
literally like a card
Whole
that can be like
rippers.
a decently priced. A celebrity goes, oh, I got this card. Now they're just like even higher.
What's even cooler about the Jake Paul situation with his card, he can get it re-encapsulated and put a pedigree on it.
Really?
And when they put a pedigree on it, it says this was priorly owned by
Yeah.
so and so. And if that grader finds you of a person of significance, I don't know how they determine that, but they're like, oh, stamp it,
Yeah.
owned by Jake Paul. Now he can argue that was it's not only the Charizard's value, but it's his value as well now too. and whatever his value may be determined. I think if he does it, it's a genius play.
Oh yeah.
I think it's genius if he does that because it's all upon him now because he has a huge following. I'm sure there's a fan out there that has some money that would
Oh,
want to be like, you know what,
100%.
I want a piece of Jake Paul. Gets his Charizard chain. Because also he could argue he put the card on a chain, and if he gets a pedigree on it too, dude, it's like you're not just paying for the
Pay
card,
for the whole
paying
thing.
paying for me and
Yeah.
the chain. And he wore it at the boxing match too, so it's part of boxing history as well. So, however you want to spin that, because didn't he fight Floyd with that?
Um,
Yeah, I was surprised Floyd took that fight, to be honest. But
That was for
that,
money.
that
For money.
yeah, he did his thing. Nobody won or lost really, so he was like, I'm gonna just punch this guy for a little bit. But with that card having the nostalgic prints on it like that, they cost certain fees, I guess. Because like if you get images scanned of your card, like you want them real high quality and you want the camera lighting just right, they'll charge you a small fee for it. But I'm sure a pedigree costs money, and then you got to factor in shipping it there, shipping it back, how much insurance you want to put on that card too. So when you go into the panel and you're like, okay, here's a $200-300 card that I sourced and put it in the mail. If the mail loses it or it gets stolen, that insurance policy you put on your package can determine whether you're getting your money back or not. And the thing with the postal office right now and the services out there, sometimes they'll mess up. They're human.
yeah.
And you can't be sitting back like, oh, they'll get it right perfectly every single time. All this and that. They lose things sometimes. So
That's scary.
me personally, I take further steps. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna get this card and I think it's gonna be $1,000, and I go over the quality of it and everything, there's no scuffs on it and everything. I don't mind paying a little bit extra to be like, hey, bro, it's $1,000 card in there. Take care of it, please. They'll put it on the top shelf instead of putting it under like weights or something, I guess. But I would take proper steps in looking at, okay, let me take care of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Let me not let him get sacked on the way over there. I would take an insurance plan on that when you're at the postal office. It might cost a little more, but it's better than losing a whole card that you could have got like a 10 out of 10 on.
Yeah, I was gonna ask next, like obviously there's different demands for everything. Especially on the time of the year. Like
Especially.
for instance, you talked about reselling textbooks for school. Obviously that depends on what time of the year it is for the most part, unless they're college students. I mean, for the most part they are, right? Like you're selling to college students because they need to look for a book for their professor. Um,
Quickest place they're going to go?
yeah,
Amazon.
exactly. And I mean, that's where a lot of people resell. But I was gonna ask, like, what is that demand like for you? Because you specifically sell cards for the most part. Um, like you resell random stuff here and there, right? Like randomly, but
So what I got myself into, my girlfriend and I, Diavion, we sell textbooks on Amazon.
mm-hmm,
I was going around the thrift stores and whatnot. I was finding a lot of good quality textbooks, and I was like, dude, these are like current curriculum. Like, why are these just sitting here? So I bought them all up, sent them off to Amazon, and they have like a fulfillment program. So you box up all your books, send it to the warehouse, and whenever you get an order and they want that specific book, they'll repackage it and send it to the proper place. Pay like a yearly fee, I think, and they'll handle the rest. You just got to get it there. So what we'll do for Amazon textbooks, handle all that, and you depend on the Amazon market. Then Pokemon cards, I keep those over in eBay just because that's like the collector's go-to.
mm-hmm,
Um, I would say the same thing for like shoes, but you have more apps like StockX for all that.
yeah,
So I haven't. I remember I bought a pair of like the old Hair Sevens
yeah, yeah.
from eBay a long time ago, but I don't think I would buy shoes there again. And I know comic books. I keep comic books on eBay just because it's collectibles.
Yeah, do you
It's a go-to.
has there like been a time where it spikes? Like is it just because of social media when it spikes, or is there certain seasons it spikes that you noticed, or not really?
More times than not around like Christmas time
Christmas.
because people are buying gifts,
Mm-hmm.
that. And then more times than not around Christmas time, people have extra money.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed at the start of the pandemic, when everybody was getting stimulus checks and whatnot, they were reinvesting it. And a lot of people made YouTube videos explaining how if you buy Pokemon cards that are graded and everything, it's almost the same thing as when the past generations bought vintage art pieces that were very valuable and rare. They used them as a hedge for inflation.
Mm-hmm.
So when our inflation rates are doing whatever, doing their whole breakdance routine, and you're like, okay, I put $500 into this. That's how much I'm gonna ask for, depending on whatever circumstance comes up. And you could argue that and be like, hey, bro, I put some money into this right here. I expect that back. And if it's in the same condition that you got it, who can argue? Be like, oh no, it's not worth that much anymore. But at the same time, it's almost different than like selling a car, and you keep driving it and you keep running the mileage up. It depreciates. If you get a card and keep it safe, you don't even have to grade it. If you just keep it safe in a non-humid room in a dry area too, no mold or anything, it'll be fine. But if you like leave it out in the sun, you can get a sun baked card real easy. You get them
Like,
bleached.
no, yeah, I've had one of them. Like this is like an old card. It doesn't even matter about the card, but like I've seen it. Like
You've
it just
seen it,
sits
yeah.
there, and I just stare at it. I'm like,
Well, let's see what
yeah,
it does tomorrow. And you see the
just straight
colors start
faded
fading away a
away.
little. It's wild because I've seen certain sun bleach ones. People still like them for whatever reason. They're like, oh,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
yeah, if you do it for like the right amount of time, it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, but I think if like say you burn the whole picture off, I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think
no,
you can
that's
do anything with
I
that.
don't even know what card this is.
Like, what is this thing? But those I think what 3 or 4 platforms, pretty nice. But for like sourcing certain things, I would say like go to like the more obscure places where you wouldn't think you'd find them. You'd be
Yeah, and
surprised.
you could get them for a better price most of the time, right? It
Um,
depends.
I mean, eBay is usually the source of
Yeah.
reference, but you can always negotiate.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it really taught me finding Pokemon cards. It's like, hey, everything is negotiable. You can get your, on Skyrim, you can get your speech perk up.
He said,
Every time I made like a good deal or sale, I saw in my head, I visualized the perk tree
yeah.
going up.
Have you ever used like Instagram, like any social media as like a source? Like,
Yeah, I actually found a lot of cards on like a separate Pokemon Instagram that I made.
okay,
So I was sitting there. I didn't want it on my main feed because I didn't want my whole feed to be Pokemon cards.
yeah,
Because the Instagram algorithm, you look up one thing, it's
yeah,
there. So I made a whole new page, looked that up, and I started finding like all of these creators and just marketers that were out there. There's a whole industry that I didn't even know of. These people have like brick and mortar shops,
hmm
have thousands of cards coming in and out all the time, and they usually go through very transparent, like Venmo and PayPal. Their transactions are out there. They have eBay shops and everything. They're like, dude, we just did this long
yeah,
enough and it took off. And then they use tools like TikTok, Instagram, sometimes even Twitter. They just blow up. They like what's not to, or WhatsApp. I think that's
yeah,
what it is.
yeah,
And they'll do like live auctions on there and stuff as well. Instead of doing it on their Instagram profile, because you can only get your followers
yeah.
when you go live on that. But for WhatsApp, I think that's what it is. I think it just spreads it.
Oh wow.
Cause I downloaded it just to look at it, and they just send me notifications like, oh, you want some nostalgic collectibles?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even like this, but it looks
Have
interesting.
you have
Okay,
you ever
thanks for
used
the push.
Facebook Marketplace? Because like for cards,
I
I use it a
haven't.
lot for like looking up for wheels and stuff. That's how I use
I should
Instagram and
look into
Facebook
that.
Marketplace.
I should look into that because that's not the first time it's been recommended to me, and I never like dabbled in the Facebook
Mm-hmm.
Marketplace like that. Just because I remember when I was looking for my car, I would look through the Facebook
Yeah.
Marketplace, and then everybody was like, "Ah, don't do it. It's all shady over in there and all this and
Yeah.
that." But maybe that was just for the cars, because I don't know if Facebook has this for their marketplace. But is there a buyer's guarantee?
I'm not really sure. Like I just scroll through it. Like to be honest, I don't really look because I'm not there to buy. Like I just look.
Yeah. So with certain apps like eBay and Depop and I think Mercari even too, you get a certain protection as a buyer and a seller. So it really narrows the chance that you're gonna get scammed.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had an issue where I tried to get like an old Star Wars comic book, and I went to what was it? What's it called? OfferUp.
Oh yeah.
And my foolishness, the guy was sitting there, oh, I can't do it through OfferUp, Cash App me and all this and that. And I was like, you seem like a trustworthy guy off the internet. I've never seen you a day in my life. Cha-ching. There goes $200. You know?
Oh
Joe actually was like almost 300. Just you gotta learn those growing
mm.
pains. But I even tried to be like, hey, Cash App, I got scammed and all this. And I'm like, what do you want us to do for
Oh
it?
yeah. Cause it's
We
like
can't do nothing. Sent in a whole letter and everything. And they're like,
we have nothing to do with it. Like
yeah, they just sent another email like, hey, you should have stayed in the app that you were supposed to buy on. OfferUp has buyer protection, but it's like a whole conglomerate of scammers on there that I've seen. Because you'll send a message and be like, hey, you ask a specific thing, they won't answer. And I'm like, oh, okay. You'll go on eBay. You could message somebody, and more times than not, they'll reply. But I just don't like how. Well, I didn't like getting scammed just because I
Well, I
got
mean, that makes
scammed.
sense.
But
Nobody wants to be scammed.
if you're acquiring things, I would stick to just the platform you're on because you can get a refund if something goes wrong a whole lot easier
Mhm.
than if you go outside of whatever app. Because then you're like, oh, I gotta link this to that and that to this, and then even if you do, they're gonna be like, should have bought it on our platform. That was our policy on our website. It would be the same thing as if you go to Walmart. And you're like, hey, it's a day 35 on your 30-day back guarantee. Still take my stuff, and they're gonna be like, bro, it's not gonna fly.
I was gonna say, I remember when the whole pandemic started and like people were trying to find ways of income. Dude, I remember, I'm sure it was like this for both of you guys. On YouTube, bro, I saw so many recommended videos or on TikTok too of like, oh, how I make this much working from home. Or it's like
Yep.
reselling stuff on Amazon or through Amazon. What are they called? Like care packages,
Oh,
basically.
yep,
Yeah, it's like they
the
open it and then they resell
the
every.
mystery
Yeah,
boxes and
mystery
stuff.
boxes. I was like, dude, that's such a hit or miss. But it's like if you have the money to do it, I mean, you could definitely do it. And it most of the time, I feel like most of the time you're at least gonna have one item in there that's gonna break
Something.
even for the most part.
At least a break even.
Like,
My aunt actually recommended me look into that.
mhm.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm thinking about it. Because she was showing me certain YouTube videos where people were getting some good stuff out of them. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
but how many did they buy
yeah.
before
I was
they
gonna
got
say, how
that?
long did it take him to get this video? Like,
That's what I'm saying. Because they're gonna get their views, and they can make their money back off their
yeah,
views, off the whatever video they
yeah.
put up, and put like a big, attention grabber. Oh my God! But big, what's in that box? Like, you can get your views back that way and get your money back another. But for instance, like if you buy up 50,000 packs, you don't get one Charizard. Hey, bro, you weren't even gonna break even if you even got the one Charizard because those are $5 a pack.
Yeah, no, I remember. I wonder if your mom did this because our moms are pretty similar. Um, my mom was like, I want to like start something and like start selling it out of our house because a bunch of people are into CMOS.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so it's like a healthy substance that you like you eat and then it just like it makes you healthier at whatever, right? Like that's just the
yeah.
it's an idea, you know.
That's the
Yeah.
niche. That's the
So it's
market.
like and it comes in like a jar, like a mason
Hmm.
jar. And
It's like jelly and everything.
yeah, basically, it's like jelly, like seaweed, and like some random stuff. I don't even know, bro. But like a bunch of people in our family were on it, and my mom was like, "I want to do something like that." And she was like, "I was thinking about doing like a cannabis one, and like but she was like, everyone's already doing it though." And I'm like, "Yeah, you just gotta like get on it fast and have yours blow up first." Like, has
Yeah.
your mom ever thought of something like that?
I mean, me and my mom together, because we're pretty like crafty. So I mean, like my mom wants to do like laser etching and stuff. Yeah.
Ooh, that's pretty
So
cool.
that's like probably somewhat like in like the next 5 years we want to start that. We've kind of started on like, well, myself, I've started on, like stickers. Like I've made stickers, like car banners and stuff, like Instagrams and stuff.
Hey, that has a huge
Yeah.
market, doesn't it? The car banners. My have it. One of my roommates in college, he likes doing car photography. Every car he has
Yeah.
that he takes pictures, there's some stickers
Oh
on
yeah.
it, or decals or something.
Yeah. Like I used to test on my car a lot, like a whole bunch of different things. But yeah, like I used to sell those for a little bit, and then my mom, she just does it. Like she just makes things for like the
She goes,
family and stuff.
she's
Yeah.
experimenting.
So
She
like
said, we gonna find
like
something.
it's
It's gonna
something like
work.
honestly we could really just like kind of make something with sticker making and all that. So like that's my family side.
I was gonna say like your mom literally made like a I don't even know how to explain. It's like a wooden board for my mom's birthday, and it says "Happy Birthday," and it had like her
Oh, that's
age. It was
awesome.
really cool. It was I don't even know. Was it like it was? I don't even know how to explain it. It was like burned on the wood, basically. Like that's
Okay, that reminds me of what we used to do in like wood shop. We
Yeah.
used to like make
Yeah,
signs and
exactly. It's
everything,
like
but it
that.
was a little different though. It wasn't as high tech as like etching it onto there, because we had like an old tool that just got real hot and you just
Yeah,
stuck it
that's
on there.
basically like kind of what she did. I don't know if she did it at home or not, but yeah, it's like
That's
it's
still cool.
something like basically what she did.
yeah, no. And I remember I was talking to our cousin Caesar. You know Caesar.
I remember
Yeah,
season.
I was talking to him because we're talking about all this stuff like potential. It's not even like reselling. It's like selling your own product, but it's like making the product yours, but off of something else. Like I told him, I was like,
You got a brand.
yeah. Well, he was telling me he was like I was thinking about making like my own arm sleeves, right? And I was like, that's cool, but I was like, what's really in demand? Weight, like lifting belts. And I was like, bro, if you get some anime lifting belts, like people have already done it, but
Oh, that'd be awesome.
there's not enough in like supplied right now. You could definitely make so much money if you did it.
There's a bunch of weebs that are in the gym. Yep.
Exactly.
You gotta get your final form.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. I was talking to him about, I was like, dude, if you get the weight belts in, like, it might take time for you to make them, but it's the same thing as people making the rugs. It takes time.
Yeah, it would. I would say it'd be more craftsmanship than mass production at that point. Cause I mean, unless he gets a print, then
Yeah.
gets a supplier and be like, hey, print Goku 10,000 times, please.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Then again, though, it's easier said than done because the product might not come out the way you want it to. And it's like, that's why people that do custom stuff, it takes them so long because
Mm-hmm.
it's custom for a reason, and they sell it for a price that they think is worth their time because it takes so much time.
And they're taking that fine detail and it's their craftsmanship.
Yeah, like,
Because you're not gonna go to BMW and be like, oh, I want that car that took all this time to make, but I only want it for $5.
Yeah.
They're gonna look at you crazy.
for example, like the stickers. The stickers take time. Like, you talk about that process.
Yeah, I mean, like, depending on like fonts and stuff, because since I do it myself, I have to sit there. We do the cutting. We do the normal cut, right? So it's outline basically. And then if there's like smaller pieces, I have to like nitpick every piece out.
Oh man.
Like if I had just like a normal cutter, it'd be so easy. It just print it out, peel off whatever isn't needed. But yeah, like I had to sit there and like nitpick everything.
It gets pretty tedious, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
and it's like it's so hard to like figure out price ranges for it too, because you're like, I mean, I did so much work, but at the same time, like I feel like maybe it's not really worth that much.
Okay, okay, that's fair. It's you're trying to find that.
Yeah,
happy
like, it's
medium.
like both like the buyer and myself are like satisfied with the price. Yeah.
Definitely you give a fact because if I like, and I remember Derek and we used to work at North Face, and there were just certain products they weren't priced right. They were just sitting there. They weren't gonna move. They weren't. Yeah, they were just gonna collect dust. Then we had to dust them off eventually. And to an extent, with certain cars that I've sold, I couldn't find that happy medium, right? And they just sat there.
Yeah.
But I know, like for instance, I had to take a loss on a Venusaur that I got from the second base set. And I was like, okay, I got this car for like $100. Put it back up for that much, nobody was biting on it. Look at the market, everybody was not paying $100 for it anymore. And I was like, dang, did I take an L on this? Like, to be fair, I didn't do enough research on it, I guess. But I think it sold for maybe like $40, $50. And I was like, dang, that's a $60 L. But I took it more of as like a learning opportunity because it's like, okay, I need to evaluate the certain marketplaces that I'm selling these things for just so I could price them accurately and also so I could source them accurately too. Because if I'm getting these materials and they're like, okay, I'm trying to make socks, how much is the material that's going to cost? How much is it going to take to weave them into what I'm trying to make? And then how much are they selling for too?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, because you brought up like the prices and like you take a $60 L, you can't just change the price instantly. Like once you put up a price, is it final?
You could alter it, but the thing is, I put it up for an auction.
Oh,
So you can't just stop
so
an auction and be
auctions are
like, no,
different.
everybody pay me $100 now.
Yeah, so an auction, it's like you put the price and then it goes up from there. It doesn't never goes down, right? So, but if it's like on a sellable item, it's not an auction item, then you could change it whenever you want.
Yeah, you could actually alter your auction prices before anybody has bid on it for eBay at least.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of settings you could play with on eBay, honestly. If you don't want to mess with an auction, you don't have to. Just put a buy now price and put offers on there. And with the offers, people will just be like, okay, we're not sitting through an auction or anything. I could just take my time with it.
Mhm.
And it kind of takes some pressure off of the buyer. And it kind of takes some pressure off of you as a seller too. Because if you take like a $500 card, put it up for 1 cent and watch it run up, that's a lot of bids. That's a lot of people pushing buttons, and people are lazy. Sometimes people don't want to be like, I'm going to keep arranging the algorithm and be like, bid up to this price, bid up to that price. Because eBay is like, hey, we know y'all don't want to be here. They have a setting where like, we'll bid up to this amount. And if that crosses that threshold and keeps going up, or if it doesn't even reach that threshold, your card might not sell for what you want. So if you put a buy now price so that the lowest you'll go, and then put offers, you might get a more satisfactory sell that you do.
Yeah.
But if you sell it in an auction, that's even more of a risk that you're taking right there. That's just off of, oh, let's see how Jim from Idaho feels about my
Yeah.
Charizard.
Yeah.
If he you can get a big discount on certain things. You get an old card that looks beat in the picture. Somebody just don't know how to do their angles. You'll get it back. It looks way better. You came up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If you have something.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you a question. I was gonna ask if you want to say what you want to say before the question.
That was it.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I was gonna say like when you're looking, it's like for car parts, for instance. I know you haven't bought some in a while, probably, but when you're looking at car parts, like what condition are you looking at where it's like, okay, I think I'll like buy this. Like if it has a couple scratches, because I know cars and cards are different. Because I mean, for you, you're looking for it to be resellable. He's using it for his car to look nice. So it's like, what determines that for you?
Parts like say for instance wheels. It could kind of be the same way as cards. Like you get it for the satisfactory. You look at your car, and then there's a very likely a chance you're gonna resell those wheels for another set of wheels. So,
I see.
yeah,
I see.
like for the most part, I mean, obviously you're not gonna look for any damages,
Yeah.
and if there is damages, the price has to be like right. It's like something. It also has to be something like you can probably fix, unless they're just you don't even care about them. You're just buying them just to have them. But yeah, like you'll look for like scuffs on the around the rim. Um, you also have to think about if you have to buy tires or not. Like that's also annoying. Like right now, tire prices have like gone up. Like I luckily bought my
You got to get the proper dimensions.
Yeah, and the
for
proper
rims and
dimensions,
everything
like
as well too.
it's also tough. Like if you are buying wheels with tires on them already, you better hope they fit your car.
Oh man,
Like especially like with how my car's set up. Like
how it's
yeah,
lowered
like
and
if
everything.
I get any fatter tires than I have right now,
Oh,
they're
it's
not
gonna
gonna
be an
fit.
issue. Oh man.
But yeah, like for the most part, I mean, just looking for scuffs and that's pretty much it. Like I mean, same thing goes for Pokemon cards, but I feel like Pokemon cards are a lot more like intricate. Like you have to look for offsets.
Yeah, they have like certain. I should have brought a card for you guys to look at that's like all graded and everything. But there's like subgraded categories. You got to pay a fee for that too, just so they could tell you specifically what's going on. For certain cards, they'll have like a centering grade, your edges, how crisp they are, your corners, and then the surface of the card itself too. They put that card under like a black light or something, so they see everything going on. So if there's like a big scratch that's blind to your eye because it's that thin, they're gonna see it. They're gonna put it under a specific light and be like, just like the scuffs on a rim, and be like, "Hey, bro, you got a scuff on the Charizard right here." And
Is that
it's
just like
not it.
luck of the draw then when you're looking at it online? Because it's like you don't know if that's
Yeah, you don't know.
like you like for instance the Charizards you bought, were they already graded? They were?
No,
No?
they were raw
And then you
cards.
graded them. Yeah, so damn.
I took a big risk on
Yeah,
it
for
because
sure.
they could have come back ducks. They could have been fours and fives. I would have been pissed. But at least with the grades that they got, I could at least break even.
Mhm.
You know, on a bad day.
Yeah.
On a good day, I'm still making a little change here
I
and
feel
there.
like for the most part, the card sales are pretty honorable when it comes to people reselling them.
Yeah, they don't. More times than not, you're not gonna clear it over a certain threshold.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking more of like someone lying to you about it being like looking good, like someone trying to get off on
You'd be
you.
surprised. I saw some. Okay, I bought the 2016 reprints of the Charizards.
Yeah.
They came out with a regular holographic and a reverse holographic. So the whole card was shiny on the reverse. I got this one card, and this person was like, "Oh, it's in great condition, all this and that, all that." It had a big old dent on the back. I was like, "Bro, how did you not get this on the picture? Like, what is this?" Got a Latios from like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Perfect condition. It clears a couple grand. I got it. It looked perfect in the pictures. Had like a crease in the whole middle of it. And I was like, how did this even happen? Like, what did you do to this, bro?
I think I remember you showing me that the Latios
It
and
was
Latias.
because you can't see it in a picture.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have like a magnifying glass. You put it under there and look at a certain thing. You're like, bro, what is this? This is like a whole speed
Like if
bump
I
in the
can see
middle.
it, PSA can definitely see it, bro.
Oh, they're gonna see it before it even comes in the store.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, don't even bring that package in. We already know that's a 4.
Yeah,
Come on now.
that's crazy, bro. So you're taking major risks most of the time, unless you're buying the bulk orders and then you're like,
If you're seeing it in person too,
yeah,
you can judge it way better than online.
yeah,
So if you go to like a yard sale and the dude has a table full of cards and whatnot, your depiction of everything going on is gonna be way more detailed than if you're online. And you're like, oh, I just hope they took a good picture.
yeah,
So there's that risk too. If you're buying ungraded cards, you can't really fake a graded card like that. But if you're an ungraded, you're like, okay, this Charizard, it's an error card and all that. You can't tell if that's real or if they just put a Sharpie dot on
That's
it.
true. That's true. Yeah.
More times than not, unless you've looked at a lot of error cards and you're somewhat of like adept at looking at things like that. It's a little different than seeing a crinkle from a factory press. You could tell if that's real or if it's not.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen like a lot of like YouTubers or streamers that do card openings recently, or not even recently, like maybe like a few months ago, because it's kind of dying down again. But
Mm-hmm.
when they were doing it, they always had someone on call with them to like actually know what's going on,
Yup, to
and
look
it's
at
like
it.
we ain't got it like that. We're not gonna have
Nah,
someone like that.
yeah. See, they could afford
Yeah.
that. They could be like, "Hey, bro, clear your schedule. I'm gonna do a pack opening. I want you to look at them right when I open it." He's like, "All right, $200."
Yeah.
So, more times than not, if you go on their websites, they'll have a grading scale. And you could be like, okay, they're looking for this for a 10. They're looking for this for a 9 or an 8. And you could look up examples online. Like, you can even go to eBay and be like, okay, let me look up like a 8 Pikachu out of 10. Look at it, and you're like, okay, it shows you the grade. Look for subgrades, and it'll tell you what's going on. When you see what's going on, you'll be like, okay, this surface edge over here, I guess it's rough, because you're not going to be able to touch it anymore. You can only look at it.
Yeah.
So the surface, you're not going to be able to touch it or anything, see if it's glossy or faded or whatnot. But you could look around the edges and be like, okay, there's a dent here, there's a ding there, and there's a scratch in the middle of it. I could see why this got that grade. If you watch enough YouTube videos, you'll get a little good at it. And then if you start seeing graded cards in person, you'll be able to learn off of those too.
Do you have any tens you've gotten?
I don't. The closest I have is a 9.5.
Wow, what card is that?
That's a Rillaboom. It's a Japanese
Oh,
Rillaboom.
okay.
So Rillaboom it's I think it was a it wasn't the gold secret rare, but it was like it wasn't the rainbow one either, but it had this like confetti print all over it.
Oh, that's
And
sick.
it was nice. I like it. That was one of my favorite new gen guys too. And his cards weren't going for that much at the time. I think I got it for like 20, 30 bucks. And I was like, I don't mind paying the extra 10 for shipping because that's the nostalgia I want to get.
Yeah.
Because I got back into Pokemon. My girlfriend convinced me. She was like, oh, you should get a Switch and all this and that. And I was like, all right, first game I get, Pokemon again. So get that. They had me pick the first 3 starters. And I was like, I want this little green monkey guy right here. He turns into like a big hulking everything. And I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting this, but this is cool. Found his card, and I was like, I'm gonna keep that one. That's a me card. Like, there's certain cards out there where you like buy them and be like, I'm gonna resell these ones. But there's other ones where you're like, all right, it's not that much. I'm gonna just keep it in the stash.
What's crazy is like, how hard is it to get a 10? Like, like you're just opening a pack, you don't even touch the card basically.
So you gotta think of it this way. They say like for CGC and PSA, their 10 out of 10s, it's like beyond
Oh,
factory
yeah,
perfect. So you gotta luck, and you gotta have a whole lot of luck. You gotta wish whoever dropped those cards off at the store, if you buy them, rip them from a pack, better hope they put them up there nicely. Like with these packaging right now, it's a lot different than when they first came out.
Yeah, the little
When they
paper
first
foil.
came out, they were like blister
Yeah.
packs and everything. So you'd rip that open, and those things could wobble around a lot in the packs when they were getting shipped. These ones right here, they're almost like fixed in the cardboard in a way where it's only touching the top and the bottom. And I think it's a lot easier to get like 10 out of 10s now just because of the packaging than it was back then. That's another reason why a lot of the older cards for Pokemon are a little more rare.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of the football cards are still commanding as much money as they are now because they don't have packs like that. They'll have them in boxes, but they can rattle around and they're going to get dented up along the way. Hit a bump as a delivery man, $10,000 down the drain. You had a rare Jordan rookie, gone.
Man.
Like the most recent rookie that was going crazy for a while was Mellow Ball. He was making waves with the card market for a minute. Then it kind of chilled out as the season kept
You can
going
do his
along.
thing.
Yeah, I hope he does great because I found one of his just opening up packs and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, Mellow.
Yeah.
Put that in the stash.
Dude, my dad he has so many like old sports cards, and you know what's crazy? I want to say a majority of them are like they're not laminated, but they're in like the plastic card, like
Oh,
yeah.
on the cover of it. Or
It's
the
like a
front of
plastic
it?
card sleeve. It's like a
Okay,
hard
okay.
sleeve instead.
Got
Yeah.
you.
So like majority of them, bro. I'm talking long boxes, the long card
Oh,
boxes, right?
the
You
old
know,
school
like
ones,
collectors
yeah.
know if you like.
Dude, those get heavy when you pick them
Dude,
up too.
I'm talking. He has like maybe 6 of them full
Yeah, they're
of
full,
old
huh?
sports cards
Stacked.
from like when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Talking when he was a kid, bro, he went to like the Dream Team All Star game. Like that's
Oh,
that's the era.
yeah.
And
Yup.
I'm just thinking
Yup.
like, dog.
That's some pressure in those boxes.
And you know it's dude, I have to take you to my pappy. He's my dad's dad.
Okay.
My grandpa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, dude, he's a reseller. Like that's what he
Nice.
does for a living now because
Oh, he's just sitting,
like he used
chilling.
to have an old card shop in the mall next to us,
Oh,
the
that's
mall.
awesome.
Yeah, and I remember when I was a kid, it was a card shop, bro. He used to sell
That's hecka
Pokemon
cool.
cards, any like
In the
sports
mall?
in the mall.
I don't remember
That's
that.
how old it
Wait a
was.
minute. Wait a minute. Nah, nah, nah. That must have been beyond my time then. If it was
It
real,
was
if it was way
I'm
back.
talking when I went there, bro. I must have been like 4 years old. Like
Okay,
that,
okay.
it closed like not so long after that. He has like, like he used to have vending machines for like
Oh,
25
drop the
cents that drop
cards.
the card packs. Bro,
Oh man.
I go to his house and like he's a really bad hoarder. That's the only problem with
Mm.
reselling stuff. It's like
Yes, yes.
you need to
You
have
can.
room for it, and it's like if you don't have a
Mm-hmm.
warehouse or a storage to put it in, it's gonna be
You
tough.
better sell it
Yeah,
quick. You
exactly.
better
But
sell it
that's
quick.
he did. I remember he told me he did a deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
He sold like some comics worth like thousands of dollars for like I'm talking like probably 200 times more comics, but they're not at the same value. So he's gonna
Mm.
resell them all over time and probably make more than that. But at the
Okay.
time, he's trading it, you know, and
Oh,
he's like,
I like that.
yeah, like that's basically what you can
Cause you
do.
could, I remember there was like a folk tale or something with like some of these, some of these like stock Instagram pages and whatnot. They like to come up with their own theologies and mythologies and whatnot. And there was like this one poster just saying, "Oh, there's this pencil and whatnot. I could go negotiate and get a piece of paper, and then you guys keep climbing the rungs, trading stuff instead of buying things. And then they're like, eventually, a guy's gonna get a house." And I was like, I don't see how you could do
Yeah.
that. Leverage a pencil all the way to a house. But what they're saying is it's like, okay, you can get like a $5 comic and go trade it for another one. It's like maybe $6.
Yeah.
And then you can work with $6 instead of five
Yeah,
for
you're
the
just
value
going
of
up
your
the
comics.
pyramid.
You're just going it up.
Yeah.
You're climbing that chaotic ladder, I guess. You're
Yeah.
just sitting there. I got a $6 comic, but it has your favorite character. Give me the $7 one.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, here, take it.
I'm curious, actually, like for comic books, what do you look for, like condition wise? Like, do you look for print? Like,
Particularly,
cause my uncle
I
does
took
like collects comic books, and he has them graded, but I never asked him. So like,
what you should do. I know for superheroes at least, you want to look for first appearances. Like sometimes there's like crossover events that are like really significant to the
okay.
storyline, but you got to know the stories very well, and you got to know a lot of the character backgrounds and the tendencies. And like for Spider-Man, when he got the first black Spider-Man suit,
Mhm.
those ones go crazy. If you have the vintage ones, there's a shop over in Vacaville.
Mhm.
I went up in there, he had it. It was beat up and everything. I still want 250 for it. I was like,
What?
dang, bro.
So it's just timing, like when you get them, basically.
Timing, cause like say the Spider-Man movies were a flop,
Yeah.
they those books wouldn't sell like that. Like the Blade books, the
Oh
Vampire
yeah,
Slayer,
yeah.
they're gonna come out with a new one. A lot of the Blade comic books, they might make some waves, because that's how superhero comic books work.
Mhm.
For like Star Wars books, for instance, I like collecting Star Wars just because I'm a Star Wars
Yeah,
nerd.
yeah, yeah.
So when I get in the Star Wars, I'm kind of trying to treat them similarly to superheroes, but it's a different niche because you don't have everybody like, oh, we got a whole new Darth Vader variant coming out. It's a little different because the storyline is like parallel with the movies
Mm.
for the comics. They're just filling in gaps. So depending on how significant a gap is for in between a movie timeline and how much impact it'll have, that's probably what's going to determine like a comic book's value. Like if they're just it's a filler episode, nobody's going to buy that.
Yeah.
But like when the Clone Wars series came out for Star Wars with the animation
I
and
remember.
everything, that was very significant in bridging like a 4 year gap in the films. So when those that show ended, the original comic book that came out, the number one that introduced everybody, it's clearing like $1,200 now if you're lucky. Because if you get like a really high grade on it too, you could just name your price with that one. Yeah,
That's ridiculous. But dude,
with like the original Wolverines too, they're
oh,
still
I
up there.
bet Wolverine
They're
is just
still
like
up
one of
there.
those iconic people though. Like
It was a lot more brutal in the comic books too. So if
that's
you're
what I
like,
mean. It's the same thing with like I remember when Invincible came out.
yeah, the Invincible books are going crazy
Yeah, yeah,
too.
but it was a book before it was an animation. So
Mm-hmm.
Like
It was a book like 10, 20 years before it even
exactly,
came out like
exactly.
that.
Now, but if you had the books before, and they're probably selling so much now because of how good Invincible did on
They're
Amazon.
they're going crazy right now.
Yeah,
The original number one issue for Invincible, it's up there.
like how up there?
You want to see? Let's see eBay
Yeah,
real
bro. I was
quick.
gonna say I gotta take you to my grandpa's house, bro, because he does trips to Oregon, and he'll bring like 7 to 10 crates of like comics and resell them there, and because he
Oh
has like
man.
a what's it called? He like rents out a space basically to sell them out of, right? So he
Okay.
goes up there, stays up there for a couple days, and he just sells them. And like he might sell them for cheap, but he's making more money over time than he is with those few that he's traded for like thousands of dollars. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I put the filter on where it goes like high to low.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put it on for the sales, but the highest one I saw was like $15,000.
15,000?
15,000.
Oh.
Okay, so there was a in the comic book world. It's similar to cards with CGC at least, but the one of the higher grades you could get is a 9.9, and a 9.9 sold for $7,500 and shipping. These guys are jerks, but they $7,500
That's a
for
nine
the
nine.
first Invincible. It was a convention edition, so you had to go to a
Oh
convention
my
with
gosh.
it.
Yeah, that probably adds a lot. I
I
mean,
think is this signed too? No, it's not signed, but it has all white pages,
all
and
white
it's
pages?
all white
That's
pages.
kind of
So
cool.
like comic books, their coloring fades after a while. They get off white and yellow,
Mhm.
and that's just because it oxidizes because it's paper. So with comic books, it's if you get all white pages and it's an old book, like I'm talking about like '60s Iron Man or Captain America. Oh, you're hitting it.
Yeah, right.
I saw in I think it was Pawn Stars. They were sitting up there. A lady brought in an old Thor book. They brought out the money for her. They got a comic book guy in. He was like, "Yeah, that's real." There you go. Bought it right there.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, no, I gotta take you to my grandpa's place, bro, because
I'm
he
down.
like for sometimes he'll like invite me over, and then he'll just be like, you can pick out whatever records. He has a lot of records he resells too.
Oh, that's
It's
what's
like the
up.
same thing as his comics. Like he has a collection of records. He's not really collecting them. It's more of the comics where he's trying to resell them.
Okay.
But obviously he has his special ones. Like everyone has those when you collect something. Like my pin collection, bro.
Oh yeah, the
Like,
pins are gonna go hard too.
dude, I almost wish I didn't open them, but the way it looks is just too nice for me not to open them, bro. I don't know.
A sometimes I would say this is what a lot of people do with video games too. If you get like I was looking on eBay, if you get the classic Halo
Hmm.
or the Halo 2 in particular, if you get a specific variant of it and then get the other disc, you can play with one of them, but you have the other one in case you want to sell it one day.
Yeah.
People started doing. You saw the Super Mario stuff flipping for like millions because they got it graded.
Oh yeah, the old games.
The old
Yeah,
ones,
yeah.
they're starting to treat older video games like trading cards
No,
now.
dude. A popular streamer. He goes by the name of Miskiff. He has like these old Nintendo 64 games, right? The cartridge. Like,
Sitting on bread.
no, he has them PSA graded and everything.
Oh
You know what's
man,
crazy? Guess how much they go for, bro?
I'm thinking a couple thousand, couple million.
No, not a million, but I'm
A couple
talking like
hundred.
over $200,000
That's
just for
impressive.
one. And he
That's
has like
impressive.
four, not
That's
of the same
nuts.
game, but like
My
OG
thing is,
games.
my thing with that too. I feel like there should be almost like how you have like security deposit boxes,
Yeah.
like at your banks and whatnot. I'm just interested to see like I want to go like look it up to see if you could be like, okay, I got a $500 card. You put it in the safety deposit, and they're like, you want to liquidate the value of it?
That
Yeah,
would be interesting. I don't know how that would work, but that would be.
right. Because based on these market statistics, like your bank account could technically like go up and down with the market
Yeah,
like
yeah.
volatility or something.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
guess
know
you're
if
right.
that's around or not,
Yeah,
but
that's a
that
good
would be
idea
something.
though. I
That'd be
mean,
something interesting
that's
for like a comic book in
that's
particular
something
too.
for the that's a separate like bank damn near. Like there's
Yeah,
no way a real bank would do that. I feel like it's just
because I feel like they would probably consider it not like how much you pay for it.
yeah.
Oh, this much. That's how much we're gonna equate it.
Yeah,
Maybe
but then again, it's like it fluctuates so much. So it's like how can they see that
that
as
bank would be
dependable?
on like coffee watch all
Yeah,
night,
yeah.
just sitting back
On some
like,
stock market shit, like I'm making a
yeah,
living off the stock world, like I gotta do
yeah.
this.
I would say like collectibles and stuff. That's way more volatile than the stock market is,
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
it was just certain people like certain things, and if
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh, I'm interested. Oh, what's that? Shiny rock here, shiny rock
Yeah,
there."
and it's like the stock world is more competitive. Like
Oh, leaps and
as far
bounds,
as
because
the
that,
collectibles, it's just like you're looking to sell it and there's someone willing to buy it.
yeah,
Always.
it's pretty
There's so
simple.
many people in the world. Like there's gotta be someone, even if it's across the world, bro.
Yeah,
You're
you
willing to
can
pay for the
sell that.
shipping
You got worldwide
internationally.
shipping.
Yeah.
You get it. You'd find the most obscure things being sold, like Thomas the Tank Engine trains, the little wooden choo choos.
Yeah.
Those things be selling like hotcakes. I don't, for
You know,
whatever
it's
reason.
crazy. I was thinking, what? Let's all say, and we'll end it off with this. Like, I wonder how much shit would go for, and we'll look it up after this. Like old toys. Like the main toy I used to think of that I played with, Lincoln Logs.
Oh,
Do
bro,
y'all remember Lincoln
I just,
Logs?
yeah, I just know those are going for
Can you
something.
imagine like an original set? Like it.
Like the perfect box and
Yeah.
everything. Oh, those that would belong in a museum. That would be awesome.
Can you think of one
That,
that sticks out, like an old toy that you used to play with that would probably go for a lot of money?
Old toy I used to play with. I mean, it'd have to be some sort of car, to be honest. Like I literally played with like toy cars, like the Fast and Furious sets. That's I
oh,
played with
yo,
those like all the time.
Hot Wheels go
Hot Wheels,
crazy.
yeah. I played with
Hot
like
Wheels,
literally Hot
yo.
Wheels or anything. Like,
Tracks went too hard. The tracks went too hard when you have them going in loop de loops and whatnot. Those were selling for a bunch too. If you had complete sets that were like unopened and everything,
yeah, no.
wild. I think for mine though, probably the old classic Legos, like the
Yeah.
Star Wars Legos when they were first coming out like that. Dude, those things they're going up for a lot right now because a bunch of people are making stop motion films with those.
It's
So
pretty
they're
crazy,
almost
yeah.
they have almost like a dual utility. It's pretty interesting.
I remember I used to watch those. They like make little stories out
Mm-hmm.
of the stop motions, and like
Yup.
I'm a sucker for stop motion movies. I love like Coraline. I love what's it called? Night Before Christmas. I love those movies, bro.
It's some about recognizing how tedious the process was and how fluid it ends up.
Yeah, and it's
You
like
know?
it's not. I mean, it's something you can animate, like CGI
Yeah.
wise, right? But it doesn't
Mhm.
look the same as like a clay construct. It doesn't
Yeah,
look
nah,
the
it
same, and
doesn't.
it's a
It doesn't.
miniature. Like,
Mhm.
bro, miniatures look so sick, and like the
They do.
proportions are right. Like,
Like Wallace and Gromit and
yeah,
stuff too.
yeah,
That
or
was
box
that
trolls even.
box
Like,
trolls
dude, there's so
especially.
there. I feel like there's not enough. There's one called
Not at
Flushed
all.
Away with the rats.
Yeah, that one was
Dude,
awesome too. That was great.
And I watched like the whole art behind it. Dude, it's crazy. Like with clay, I couldn't imagine. Like I'd be
You
scared.
just gotta be any little pressure that you put on it, his face is like
dude,
bent.
I remember looking at like it was a Night Before Christmas one.
Oh, that one was
Dude,
hot heat too.
I'm telling you, it's amazing how much work goes into the like pre-shooting. Like they have at least over 150 different facial expressions that they have to put on the head. Like they
Mm.
exchange the heads for every little part. And I'm like, bro, this is wild.
That
Like
yeah.
instead of just adjusting an arm or a leg, like you're completely switching out a head every single like clip. It's literally a picture, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Every single frame, you gotta like, like how you make a smile.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, that's like
it's all
5
coming
shots
up.
right there.
Yup.
Yeah.
Easily, easily. And then you gotta put the audio over it. You gotta put maybe your soundtrack if you want to have some type of music
Mhm.
or more in depth for your setting and all
Yeah.
that. And then you gotta make the setting around the little clay dude too.
so much, so much.
A whole bunch.
But-
That's a lot of clay too.
Yeah, that's a lot of
That's
clay.
a lot of clay. I wonder where they like sourced that.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, they probably source them out of like separate. It's like a company that specifically does it, and they just like pay
Yeah,
them.
give me your clay.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the way it is. But we're gonna go ahead and cut to. We're gonna open these card packs because Isaiah
Oh,
brought some
yup.
card packs for us, and we'll go
We
from
got
there.
some
But we're gonna cut to
Cards for
that.
y'all.
So we'll go.
Go get into these battle style packs. So yeah, you got the skizzers holding it up.
Oh yes.
Oh, I have another
Yeah,
pair of
yeah.
scissors. Hang on.
I just realized I was like, wait.
Yeah, we're good. We're
Why
good.
were these scissors really good?
I'll show you the card trick for these boys right here. So I think
scissors for you.
according to Reddit for the battle styles. Oh, here, hold on. For the fans out there that like Pokemon codes and whatnot, it's all you. So it's like when you get these cards right here, you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4 for the battle styles, I believe. So you put whatever you're gonna get at the back.
Yeah.
Right? You flip it over, you should get an energy card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, go through them, bro.
Alrighty. You got a Fearow, Grumpig.
Don't even know what that is.
These are like the newer gens sometimes.
Yeah. I know Mankey.
Mankey, yup. Slizzipede.
Yeah.
Baltoy.
I know Baltoy.
And there's the Timber.
I know
He's a
Timber.
little older. And there's Corphish.
Corphish.
Hey, you got a
There's a
Gligar.
Reverse holo, right?
Reverse right here. And you got
Yeah,
a Marowak. Didn't get no hit right
He's
there.
whack.
You
No,
got the
that
Gilbert.
was a horrible joke.
Hey, he got the oh, I just got that. You got that stack right there.
Reverse holo Gligar.
Here.
Isn't that cool?
You guys are more than welcome.
Nah, you could do it, bro.
You want to do them all?
Nah, you just do all of them.
Here, alright. Let me take precautionary measures.
Yeah.
Skizzers, so you don't lose the cards. We'll be turning up. Let's see the chilling rain. There's that card for y'all. I think this one was 4 as well.
We'll see. We'll find out, bro.
Yeah,
Just do it.
We'll find out. We'll flip them over. Ah,
Yeah,
okay. It's 4
fair.
for both of them. It's 4 for both. Steenie. Porygon 2.
Oregon.
Hey, you like that new artwork?
That is
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
nice.
nice.
Is a galaxy.
Look at Kakuna.
That's sick.
Pretty hard picture for Cocoon.
Yeah.
Snorunt. Yamask. Oh, this cub food. That's the original form for the Urshifer. That's what he looks like when he's little. Inky. Diglett.
Reverse
Ah,
holo.
Delibird.
Delibird. Reverse holo.
And Volcarona.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
nice. Listen. For these ones right here, if you look at the bottom corner, it's still a rare. So if you get a star in the corner, that's a rare card.
Okay.
So with these packs, guaranteed you're gonna get at least a rare at the end.
Yeah. But they just still don't sell for much, right?
It depends on like certain deck builds. Like that'll probably be worth more than like an energy card for sure.
Mhm.
But it just depends on what certain builds are out there. Apparently, I've learned this fairly recently. There's like a whole market for deck builds that are out there and whatnot. Like if you get certain legendary cards,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, I want a setup where I can just destroy my opponents with this specific character. They have websites where they're like, okay, we can sell you the whole deck right here, and they charge like a reasonable amount. They'll be like less than $100.
Oh,
You'll be like, you could play with this and everything. Freaking more Pico.
Yeah, I don't even know who these Pokemon are, bro.
Hey, it took me a minute to get caught
I know
up
that
with all of them. Durant.
It's a
Cheryl.
trainer card.
Kevin Durant.
A lot of these
Kevin
trainers.
Durant.
Don't sleep on the trainer.
Hey, trainer card.
Certain-
There's some.
Yeah, there's some
trainer
cool
cards.
ones. There's reverse holo trainer cards or holo trainer cards.
There's some full art
Full
trainer
art
cards
yeah,
too.
full art, yeah.
Glameow. Corphish again. I feel like he's gonna be the new magic card.
Nothing, nah.
Oh, you got a reverse Golbat. Look at
That one's kind of cool,
That's sick.
actually, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you got the
look at
info?
that.
That was
Look at
on the pack,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
It was on the front of the pack.
Where was it? Oh, it was over there somewhere. Look at that. Empoleon.
Let's go. That's a good
Five.
one.
Nice.
Look at that. Pretty sauce. Got one more.
Yeah, we gotta look up the price of that one after.
Oh, we can. Could do the like nice edit in there and be like clean.
I mean, it's not. No, wait, that is full art?
That's the full art. Well, actually, this one is a little bit different from. They have a lot of variations of the full art. So they have this full art where he's the V. There's now a thing called a V Max.
Yeah, VMAX, yeah.
V Max is full art, and if you get a secret full art V Max, that whole thing just does like a backflip. So here's that last code card for you. Here, I'll do this one. 2, 3, 4. Hopefully I did it right. Yo,
Let's see it.
with that rugged helmet, crushing gloves, Corellia. I think that's our second form. Yeah,
Yeah, Gardevoir is the next one. I know that one.
Ghastly. That's a nice card for Ghastly right there. Another cub foo right there. Hatina. Oh, my girlfriend likes these ones. These cute ones. Oh, look at that. You got an Abundant Snow. And then, ooh, look at that.
Tauros.
Tauros.
Hollow
That's pretty
Tauros.
nice.
That is
Nice.
pretty
It's a
nice.
single strike. Look at that artwork for that. Look at these.
That's sick.
There's your pool.
That Empoleon was crazy.
That
I
Empoleon was cool.
wasn't expecting him.